Hi. And there we go. Is it working now? There we go. And who have we got this evening? Sound off in the comments. Thank you very much for joining me. Streaming live on Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. All thanks to my patrons up there. Their names are going to go scrolling across there. I would like to have a big shout out to Reese and a big shout out to Tim and Wayne as well. Thank you very much. Tier 3 and above Patreons. Thank you indeed for your support. It's fantastic. I have a funny feeling that that hasn't refreshed, so there's something going on with that. Let's refresh that and see if that's going to help. Bugs everywhere. Bugs and bugs galore. Well, that's going to have to hide because that's just useless. Who have we got say hello in the chat? Thanks for joining me this evening. We're going to be getting on with Conquest issue number 6. The next one in the series. I know that most of my sort of advertisement is the latest issue, and issue number 7 was out on Wednesday. Issue number 8 is out on Wednesday, which is a pain in the butt. I'm 2 issues behind, virtually, which is a shame. But there's not a lot we can do about that, to be fair. You know, this is all from my subscription, as opposed to going out and buying them in the store. If I could afford to buy them in the store, I probably would do. But there's not a lot I can do about that. I also want to make sure that my chat boxes are working on the screen. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I think they are working alright tonight, which would make a change. All I need to do actually to check that they're working is do this, which is everywhere you can find me, all over the interwebs, which is just there. So my chat boxes are working, which is handy. Facebook isn't liking the stream tonight. It's all very quiet. So, right, I suppose we're going to have a cracking straight on with it, I suppose. Oh, one thing I do want to mention actually, is before we get on with tonight's show, is my competition to win these little metal barrels, and a tank commander in there. Just have a look, see if you can get that. It's still ongoing. All you have to do is enter the competition on Facebook. Have a look at the Facebook page. It's all on there, ready to go. So feel free to go and have a look at that. All right. It's all very quiet tonight. So we'll get cracking straight on with it tonight, I suppose. If you got any questions, any chats, feel free, jump on. Alright, have a chat. Meanwhile, we'll crack open this magazine. Move that to one side and change the shot. When it speeds up, the computer is very, very slow. It's really not happy. There we are. Look at that. There we go. Open that up. Here we are. Let's have a look. Where do we want to put this? Right. So we want to move the camera. I was worried about this earlier. There we go. Let's move the camera around a little bit. There we go. That's what we got. That's what we want. There we are. Welcome. Don't forget to jump on in the chat. Have a chat. Say hello. And we'll have a chat as we go through this. Right. So, Plague Marines. We'll talk about those in a little while. I think this is the second time that the Death Guard have had a repeated set of models. The first was being the Poxwalkers, or no, this is the first time, sorry, and then the Poxwalkers are coming soon. Yeah, so we'll have a chat. Let me know what you think about that, and then we'll have a look at this, which is definitely another one. So what have we got here? The Tainted Suns. So obviously, last week we realised that, or I realised that Death Guard can have more than one chapter, as it were. The war bands, the different colours. So in this one we get to see the one of those, the Tainted Suns, which is very interesting. I might actually consider having a look to see if I could build up a Death Guard chapter in air brackets as I see fit. I'll have a look to see if I can figure out if I want to sit them in anywhere. And then what have we got here? Oh, so we got some examples of the colours, as well as, so obviously, evidently the GW colour scheme, by the looks of this, the way that they paint their models and show us in the codexes and all of the reference material for Plague Marines are the Tainted Suns. And even here it just says that they're favoured by Mortarion up here. We could read through it and actually understand why, but it seems that they are the GW, the organisation of the Death Guard, which means that should you ever want to kind of do lots and lots and lots of Plague Marines of different colours and so on, you can actually build up the entire Legion. Hi Tim, how are you? I was thinking I was all on my own tonight. So that's cool. I like that. We you can build up your own Legion as it should be in the Codex, which is kind of cool. I like that. And then here we go. We have some more. Did we have some colours for the Death Guard last week? I think we did, didn't we? Or is this the first time we've seen different colours of Death Guard? I did see you'd picked up your orcs again. That was cool. I did see it on the chat, but I did forget to mention you back. So that's cool. So we carry on here. We got the Plague Company as well. So we got the Death Guard as a whole, with 7 Plague Companies by the looks of it. And this is how a Plague Company is organised into sepsis cohorts. And then down into colonies as well. Sepsis cohorts are further divided into 2 maledictums, which are made up of 7 colonies of Plague Marines. Ooh, I've got some plans now. Because, at the end of this magazine we're going to have an entire game's worth of Plague Marines, so, you're going to want to add to it, aren't you? So, we got some colours of the various Plague Marines on both of these pages, which is kind of cool, so you don't have to follow my guides. You can do some more. Now this is interesting. Plague Marines. How to build Plague Marines. Didn't we already have this exact picture in issue number 2? I'm gonna have a look at issue number 2. Because I'm pretty sure in issue number 2, with the Plague Marines that we got, was how to build Plague Marines. They're identical. that is lazy magazine filling. I mean, really. Not only are they duplicating the models, they're also duplicating the pages. You're supposed to cut these out and put these into your folders. Look at this, right? Issue number 2. Issue number 2. Building your Plague Marines. And issue number 2 of this. Building your Plague Marines. I mean, that's identical. The only difference being with these is that these guys in issue number 2 have got names, but these guys don't. But I mean, they're the same model. And then how to paint your Plague Marines. And this is, they've got Death Guard 1, Death Guard 3. They have literally just copied and pasted the entire section. I mean, that is lazy. Is it really worth it? That's terrible, that is. Wow. Well, that's a little bit disappointing, that is for sure. Alright, so we're moving on then to... So we got Squad Warfare Revisited. Stop the Poxwalkers is the mission, of course. We've had, you know, every single one. We've got different missions for each magazine, which is good because it's complicating the game on a step-by-step basis, which is perfectly fine. Of course, it's teaching you about, you know, your squad's, what's the word, cohesion, which is kind. It is ridiculous, isn't it, Tim? That's terrible. You see, the thing is, these revisited rules, I would like to bet. Now, I haven't been reading the magazines completely from start to finish, but I'd like to bet all of this is just copied and pasted as well. I mean, that does seem like a really ridiculously... It's revisited, revisited, revisited. This might be interesting, is splitting your fire. On this page here, we got splitting your fire, which is kind of cool. Yeah, it means that a single unit doesn't have to fire on one unit or another. It can fire more than once. Not more than once, sorry, but on different units. But so that will probably be different. So that's cool. And we got units in the charge phase. So we're talking about multi-charging multi-charging units. About these 3 models have to declare a charge on both units to be able to fight them, or you can't. If you only charge one or the other, you have to stay away from the other one, which is just the rule. And then how to fight. And then we have another mission here, stop the Poxwalkers. So we go through the how to win. At least one Poxwalker must end their move on one of the Space Marine deployment. And extra rules for rapid fire bolt gun, rapid fire plasma gun, and the blight launcher. That was issue number 5, we don't need to worry about that. No, it seems like we're alright there. Just have a quick look to see if we've got any power fist and a combat knife, but that's fine. Blight launcher, rapid fire. So yeah, I mean essentially, I mean we've got one here, which is this. This is in issue number 2 as well. We've got 2 almost identical. We've got the blight launcher there, which is blight launchers, enemy save on a 5-up. Oh, that's cool. So they're adding. You see, this is the problem. One thing I have noticed here, we've got a blight launcher here. in the latest edition, and obviously Blight Launcher in issue number 2. The Blight Launchers in issue number 2 just means the enemies must save on a 5-up, which is, you know, your armor value, you know, the armor penetration. Whereas on here, it's telling you that it has 2 shots and the enemies must save on a 5-up. The problem I've got with that is that sometimes, you know, the first time you hear something, it can kind of stick. Yeah, so if it's the first time you see something, as alright, this has got 1 shot and you have to save on a 5-up, that can kind of stick. Trying to change that to it now has 2 shots and you have to save on a 5-up, that can be a little bit problematic to learn. But, you know, and that's that, yeah. And then we're into issue number 7 and 8. Issue number 7, 2 pots of wash, non-oil and Agrax associated at £4.55 a piece, which is £9.10. Yep, £9.10 for £7.99. Or we have issue number 8. Now this one is one to get. Issue number 8, £7.99. The model that comes with it, £22.50. So that is one hell of a saving. So yeah. And then we'll have a look at the models. Now, I did say that issue number 7 had on the back of it that issue number 9 has some Poxwalkers, and this is a sprue of exactly the same models as issue number 2. So that means when issue number 9 comes around, the Space Marines will have 2 special characters and 2 separate units, completely different from each other, and the Plague Marines will have 2 squads of Plague Marines and 2 squads of Poxwalkers that are identical to each other. Now, I know that there is going to be some we knew it was going to happen. But what I do have a problem with is the fact that they've done it so quickly, and that the Space Marines will have 2 of their special characters already, whereas the Plague Marines are still waiting for, you know, their first one, which is, you know, it doesn't make sense. I know that there was going to be some duplicates. Even the Reavers and the Intercessors are going to be duplicated. That's not a problem. The problem is that they're duplicating them already. When, you know, do you really need to? Do the Space Marines, or more to the point, are the Plague Marines so powerful that the Space Marines need all of their special characters before the Plague Marines get theirs? I mean, it sounds a bit like a conspiracy theory, but it's almost as if they want to make sure that the people that are playing with the Space Marines are going to win. I don't necessarily think that that's what they would be planning for, but it does seem to be that, you know, it is weighted towards the Space Marines, because they've already got a sergeant that you can't shoot at if he's, you know, or sorry, a lieutenant or lieutenant, if he's, you know, he can't be shot at until, you know, he's the closest enemy model. And then you've got a librarian in 2 weeks' time. Well, 3 weeks for me. Is it 2 weeks? No, sorry, yeah, 2 weeks' time for me. Yeah, in 3 weeks' time they're going to get the second lot of Poxwalkers. And you've got a librarian that you've got to fight against. And don't forget, you've got that whole smite rule. And then you've got just a couple of sets of Plague Marines and a couple of sets of Poxwalkers to fight with. It doesn't really seem fair to me. But what do you think? Meanwhile, should we get these guys built? I didn't do any building last week because, well, I didn't want to build him. Although, if you haven't seen the pictures, do you want to see the picture of him? Shall I show you him? Let's bring him up. There we go. Let's bring Calcius over here, the one that I built. It's going to be very bright because he is primed, ready for painting. And I'll get the, let me get the camera in focus so that we can see him. Is it that one? No. I need somebody to be using my computer for me while I'm doing this. Either that or I need another camera, which, no, that's just not going to work out. You don't use them yet, you don't know. Well, the thing is, you might not use them yet, but you kind of understand that, you know, the special characters are special. You know, and they're, you know, they're tougher and they're stronger, and, you know, they're going to be used. And they're, you know, they're designed to be tougher and stronger. I mean, they're a lieutenant, they have a special rank. But there we go, there is Calcius. I did put a post up last week of on Instagram. We got rid of all of those U's all over him and swapped them for winged blood drops. So there we are. Nicely done. I think it's nicely done anyway. There we go. Very nice. Thank you very much. I'll get him painted, and while I think about it, there is a video, not with the weathering, in process, because I do understand I'm supposed to be releasing a video on Wednesday, and I don't actually have any available for my Patreons. Let's find the focal point. Where is it? It's here somewhere. But a yellow Space Marine, an Imperial Fist. The editing for that is going to be a little bit different than normal. Just because of the way I painted it. This is for a commission, and so he's on his way out the door on Friday, but that's what we're doing, that's what I've done, and I've got some videos, I've got plenty of videos on the way to be recorded. I just haven't had a chance to actually get them edited and ready for, you know, release yet, so that's I am working on it. I just had an apology from Wayne that he can't join in. He's only just got back from a weekend. That is perfectly fine, Wayne. Feel free to come and watch it later. It's not a problem. Yeah, so, yeah, Imperial Fist, Yellow Space Marine. And meanwhile, I'll get on with this guy. Let's get this guy built. What am I looking for? See, I might even try and switch these out. Don't know, I might switch some weapons around. You see, I've already got 2 of these, and you might actually see me doing this on stream then, actually. So, one thing I do want to do is this guy here, the champion. I want to build him as he should be, because generally I want to build this guy and I haven't had a chance. I want to paint this guy and I haven't had a chance yet, because he is this guy here, who is the one from the magazine that I'm painting along with the magazine, whoops, when we get the paints through. So I haven't had a chance to paint anything of him yet. So I'm going to paint this guy how I want to, and I'll go ahead and I'll just get him done, because I want to see him finished and add him to my growing number of Death Guard that I have stacked away behind me on my shelf of Death Guard that I use for my kill teams. So we get this one built. 4, oh yeah, 5, it's there. And number 3 is the Power Fist, which is fine. Might be a while before the other guy's painted, so it's not going to be much of an issue that I've got 2 of these guys, whereas the other 2, they'll get painted up nice and quickly. And I want them different than the ones we've already got. So stick around and you'll see that. I have a funny feeling that tonight is going to be a very quick episode again. There's not really much to talk about now. One thing I do know that I'm not sure if there's going to be a show next week. It has only been 3 weeks since I got my last delivery, and the deliveries, I think they prefer to have their deliveries on weekly basis, so every 4 weeks, as opposed to, you know, when the issues are available. That's what they've been showing us so far. So even though I've now run out of magazines underneath my desk, and I've only been doing them once a week, I only received 3 in my last delivery, which could possibly mean that there won't be a show next week. Which will be a damn shame, but unfortunately it's just the way that the Hatchet part works. It's a real shame, because it means that, you know, you guys should come and tune in, or come and watch my stream afterwards and catch up, and there's not going to be anything on. It does mean I need to make another video ready for release on Monday next week. Although what we do have tomorrow is I have Reese coming here from @ChickPaints on Instagram. Go and check her out. I could pop that on the screen actually, I think. Somewhere. Where does that pop up? There! There we go. Reese will be coming here tomorrow for some Kill Team. We'll be playing Kill Team live. So don't forget to tell everybody about that, because that's usually a little bit of fun. And we can have a bit of a chat and a bit of a laugh around that, which is brilliant. And I always have my Thursday shows as well. Well, we get cracking on with the attack bike. Again, last week was a little bit of a slow week for the attack bike, because I had to wait for wash to dry, and it was just, yeah, it was just unfortunate that that I got through the metallics so quickly, and then I had to sit there waiting for wash to dry. But it happens. But I'll be back on Thursday, where we'll carry on painting that guy up. Bit of dry brushing and then moving on to the details. That's all scraped around, that's nicely done. And then move on to this guy. I do like these push fit models. I mean, they're not impossible to convert, that some people would have you believe. But they are nice to just, you know, there's things you can just pop together, you know. You don't have to You don't have to put aside, you know, hours and hours and hours. You guess you'll see me the next time. Alright. Have a good one. Well, I'll try to. I do like these things. Just pop them together. No glue needed. Even when you're painting them, you know, you don't need to have them glued together. If they push together as well as these do, you know, they're tight. That's not going anywhere. Don't have to worry about that at all. You need to worry about glue. Now, should you ever want to, you know, change the scheme, or you wanted to, I don't know, strip it and start again. Whoops. Until you do that and bend the, there we go, look at that. I just broke the peg. So I'm going to have to glue that on. But normally, they just push together like that and you're done. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Now I broke the peg, so I'm going to have to glue this guy on. Again, you know, I like these push fit models. They're really not that bad. And I've just pulled the needle out of my tub of glue. So here we go. Right, let's just put a tiny little dollop of glue on there. I will have to glue this guy together obviously now, because I broke the peg, so that won't come back off again. I don't think that's too much of a big deal, not really. Just hold that there for 30 seconds or so. That'll glue. To be honest, it's a Nurgle Marine. Even if it doesn't glue on very nicely, it doesn't really matter. There we are. I just pop it up like that, because I don't have one of those. So a power fist, a plasma gun and a sword, a plague sword, is kind of cool. I like that. So I'll paint him up as he should be done. But then the other two, I do want to see if I could just change them a little bit from what they originally are. Now, if I just disappear for half a second and I come over here and I pick up him and him, these two you might recognize as being the models. And I'm just going to have a look. I've just realised actually something here. This is what people are talking about being difficult to change. Is I've just had a look here. I was hoping to change that arm. Oh, let me bring this up. But yeah, that arm is actually connected to the body. So it looks like I'm going to have to build them as they were. I was kind of hoping that to not need to. But yeah, I'm gonna have to. But what I can do, which it adds a little bit of a difference to it, not much, but a little bit, is the arm in which is the not the arm, sorry, the backpack. We can swap the backpacks around. That's not a problem. That will give us a little bit of variance. It's not a huge amount. It's not going to be crazy. It's like, oh wow, they look so different. But it's going to be enough just to be different, and so that they're not exactly the same. That being said, even though that's kind of put a spanner in my works, I do still like these push fit kits. I think the difference being with what people call multi-part kits, and technically they are all multi-part kits, but what people mean is, you know, when you can just swap and change model parts and make them up as you go along. But, you know, what people have been talking about recently is that the you kind of can't really give you that much dynamic. You know, the models can look different, but they're not particularly dynamic, so they're all kind of just stood there not doing a lot, looking different. Now with these models, yeah, they can have a bit more movement to them, a bit more dynamic to them, but you're stuck to only building them. Well, not only building them, you can convert them, and people do, and they do a very good job of doing it. But for the layman, you can't really convert them. So I think the key to having these multi-part kits, and why I think the Plague Marines are good to these push-fit kits, or these single monopose kits, is as long as you've got a variation of them. You know, because the Dark Imperium models are very, very different to the First Strike models, which is what we've been getting so far, is First Strike models. Which, if I remember rightly, they're also very, very different to the models that you get in the Death Guard box of, you know, Space Marines. So I think that what the important thing is not necessarily having the different parts to the model, it's just having enough of different kits to add variation. Because, let's face it, I mean, we're all going to be, you know, collecting lots and lots and lots of models. There's just nothing wrong with that. But, you know, what's the likelihood of you having all of your models on the table at the same time? And when you have got lots and lots of models out on the table at the same time, are you really going to notice that two models are identical? Even if you don't paint them a different colour. There's a lot of screaming and shouting being done about these part models, and it's these push fit models, and, oh, it's not fair, they all look the same, and you're really going to notice? I mean, yes, of course you will if you stood there looking for it, but I mean, if you're actually concentrating on your gameplay, and you're kind of looking over your army as a whole, over the table, I'm really not so sure that you're going to pick out two models that look identical. But then maybe you are. Maybe, you know, that's just me and I don't think the same way as everyone else. Feel free to put your comments down in the comments below. Am I different to everybody else? Or is there a lot of noise being said for now? I mean, at the end of the day, you know, they're just plastic toys. Is it really worth getting hung up about it? And there's me hoping I could swap the backpacks over, but I can't do that either. I could if I wanted to fill the hole, but the backpack won't fit. Not simply, anyway. I could cut off the lug, I suppose. You know what, that's what I'm going to do. Right, here we go. Cut the lug off. There we go. Simple as that. Bam! And then cut this lug off. Yep. Will that fit now? So we're just cutting this off down there. Don't copy me, kids. Right, let's see if that'll fit now. Not quite. I'm getting flashbacks of when I did the when I did my Chaplain Dreadnought. I got so far into it, I just said, yep, that's it, I'm going to have to get this done now. Because I just started hacking and hacking away at it. It's a little, just a little thing I would say to people in this hobby, is that don't be frightened of anything. If you've got monetary issues, then yeah, okay, play it safe. Because the last thing you want to do is feel like you've wasted your money. But if you've bought something, you've had an idea for it, and you know, it's not one of the, you know, you haven't gone out and spent, you know, $1,000 on stuff and you're like, oh, I really can't afford, you know, I can only afford to paint this model as it's been designed, or I can only afford to do it properly. Then fair enough, do it properly. You know, you don't want to waste your money. But I bought the Chaplain Dread with an idea. I bought it knowing that I want to make a Death Company Dreadnought, but to make it look different. And that's exactly what I went out and did. And while I was doing it, I did it on stream. Everybody saw me converting it. It wasn't converting that much, but you know, what I did it live on stream. And there were a few times where I was a bit stuck and I'm like, I really don't know what I want to do with this. And I did know when I hit that point of no return that, yep, this has to work now, because I've started gouging into the model and changing the model up. But my little bit of advice would be, just go for it. Don't hesitate, don't question yourself, don't think that you're doing something wrong or anything like that. If you've got an idea, just go for it. Don't hesitate, pick up your knife, pick up your clippers and just go for it. And have fun. And that's exactly what I did with that Dreadnought. You know, I just picked it up, I went for it. Full throttle, do it. And I just had a blast doing it. So I'm going to try and fill this gap. It's not going to fill very well because it's not supposed to be a filling medium. I'll melt the plastic a little bit down there. I just want this to kind of just hold itself together. I can grab some green stuff before I prime this and just fill that hole at the back on the backpack there. But there we go, right, got that to fit there. And then we put him against this one. I mean, it's not crazy different. Yeah, it's nothing crazy, but you know, change the backpack when you look at him from behind. You know, I mean, they'll be roughly the same sort of colour, but they'll be different. Put him next to him, you see? They'll be a little bit different. But that's enough. And I don't know, we'll see what happens when I try and do the same thing with this other one. Let's get him built. And that'll be the end of the show tonight, I reckon. All on me lonesome, so it's pretty quiet while I'm live anyway. I did kind of forget that I needed to put out some adverts. Half term kind of crept up on me, and so I was kind of like, I was sat here at about 4 o'clock and I realised, oh hang on, it's Monday today. Doesn't help the wife wasn't at work today either. She couldn't make it in, so I ended up kind of having, it almost felt like a Sunday. You know, the wife at home, the kids at home, and then realised, oh, it's not Sunday, it's Monday. And then we're going to do his front. And any new hobbyists, if you notice while I've been here, I haven't actually looked at the instructions about how to build these guys. You know, once you get used to it, you don't need the instructions. You just pick the model up and start pushing it together. And then you make mistakes like not putting the head in. See? Oh, that couldn't have been timed better. You don't need instructions. He says, doing it wrong. Head. There we go. Screwed down. Oh dear. Oh, that's perfect timing that was. Let's look like an idiot in 3, 2. There we are. Now we can put the chest on. And his head goes on backwards. No, that's not right. There we go. The wrong backpack on this model. Let's make this guy look just a little bit different than the other one. Like I said, I'm not going crazy with it. It's not like I'm trying to make it look like it's an entirely different model. Just small variations. I mean, they're soldiers after all. I mean, most of the time they're going to look reasonably identical. I suppose the mutations might change a little bit from person to person, but on the whole, So I think the lug is too big for the hole. Clean that off nice and smooth. Get rid of that lug there, which doesn't fit into anything. It just makes the model stick out of the model. And yeah, on the hole, that's a nice fit. So we're just going to pop some of this on there. Really have done with being on the other side actually rather than on this side, but never mind. Push that under there. See, that one fits nice and smooth. The other one was too small to fit in the gap. Or yeah, the hole was too small, whereas this one's actually alright, it fits quite nicely. And there we go, it's different. Here we are. Something just, I mean, obviously when they're painted up I'll put some pictures on, but you know, they look pretty much the same, but you know, with a different backpack. Nothing crazy, but it just adds a little bit of variety. There we are. Alrighty ho. It's 7:30. I've been live for an hour. I think last week was, whoops, wrong one. There we go. I think last week it was, on Thursday I had to worry about, you know, I struggled with my time in terms of putting wash on, and then have to wait for it to dry. Excuse me. Sorry.